are. I want to try something real quick. Let's do a little quick name association. Bodybuilder name.
All right, sir. Yeah.
I'll name a name, and then you just sort of say the first thing that kind of pops into mind. Okay, we'll start off easy with your buddy Tom Prince.
Tommy Boy, one of my closest friends, man. He's battled a lot of health issues the last couple of years in particular, but but he's literally one of my closest friends on this earth. Actually, love Tommy Boy.
Yeah, I'm glad he's still with us, man. He was a good guy.
He's amazing, boy, and what that was one hell of a physique, boy. He's done stuff, bro, that I'm telling you. I know these aren't quick answers, but
no, it's okay.
I talk a lot, you know.
No, please, yeah.
It's kind of what I do, bro.
Yep, it's your thing.
He's done stuff in the gym. When I moved out to LA, he was the one I trained with, right? So me and Tommy were training partners, and he would put up. His strength was so stupid. I mean, Ronnie had some crazy strength. We all seen those videos, unbelievable and all that stuff. Tommy was like right there. Like he used to do stuff that I would look at. Now I was decently strong as a pro bodybuilder, decent, nothing great, nothing. You know, there's no 200-pound dumbbells. Like I had good strength he had like stupid strength, you know, and he would do weird stuff. Like we would load up like the Smith machine incline, right? He could put like 4 or 5 plates on that thing, which was insane, right? But here's the part that would get me. He would start at the bottom. And I could never figure out how he could, like, I'd have to start
out of the negative.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right? You're going to start at the top. Your buddy's going to, you know, all right, go, you know. You're going to kind of unrack it, you know, you're going to kind of get ready. And you got to kind of feel, the, you know, this is how, you know, but then, you know, and now you're going, right? He could actually start at the bottom. I'm like, how do you even
at the weakest point? Yeah.
The weakest point, right? He could start at a dead stop and put that up. I've seen him curl 80-pound dumbbells. Now, he wasn't doing that swinging crap like that. Tommy was strict as strict could be. Yeah. So when I say he curled the 80s, like he curled the 80s, his wrists were as big as my hands. I mean, this guy had some beef, man. But could have been if he didn't, and he self-admitted this, he kind of sabotaged his own physique, you know, to a point. I think he could have been a contender for the Olympia had he kept going.
He got so big. Do you mean by sabotage meaning he got too big?
He was too smart for his own good.
Okay.
Yeah. He thought he could outsmart certain things because he's hugely intelligent.
Yes.
Very, very, but he's too smart. Remember I was telling you before when I was better off when I was stupid. You know what I mean? The smarter I got, the worse I got.
Yeah.
He's kind of the same, obviously, to a different degree. But that third place at the NOC he took where he probably could have won.
Yes. That was a
hell of a physique, man. I tell you. Yeah.
Awesome story. So how about let's talk about Brandon Curry. There's another guy I think doesn't get enough props.
Brandon is a modern day Lee Haney to me.
I agree.
He's a gentleman. Great. He's well spoken. He's a family man. Great representative ambassador for the sport. Worked his way up. Listen, another guy that didn't hit the ground, you know, as a front runner. I mean, he worked his way up in the Olympia, as did Ronnie Coleman, as did Jay Cutler. You know, none of these. Listen, they all placed dead last in their first Olympias. I think people tend to forget that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, Brandon's a bodybuilder's bodybuilder, man. He's literally he's put his money where his mouth is. He trains in Kuwait, away from his family for months and months and months. But that's what he feels like he's got to do, and it clearly paid off because he ended up winning an Olympia.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like Brandon. Real good guy, man. Real good guy.
Awesome. So what about let's talk Craig Titus.
Oh, my buddy. He was a character, man. I mean, Craig, unfortunately, was on a downward spiral from the second I met him. I don't have a lot of good to say about Craig. I really don't. He's not an admirable guy. He was not a stand-up guy. Very much a tough guy kind of, persona. Did a lot of shady stuff. Paid the price. Listen, he did time before he did time.
Right.
People don't know his background. And the funniest thing I ever heard in his response. First of all, if anybody had put money up on who was ever going to do life in prison, for a crime, he would have won like 100-0. Like everybody would have said Craig Titus, right? I mean,
yeah.
Listen, you could see this train wreck coming a mile away, and the further he got away from his roots of bodybuilding, because people tend to forget when that last year or so when they, him and Kelly kind of went off the rails, and he wasn't even a part of the league anymore. He had stopped competing. Both of them did. They were going to go start their own league and all this weird stuff and all that. they weren't even a part of what was going on anymore. They were purely into the drug life, the nightlife. Not a very good direction again. But the funniest thing I ever heard in response to Craig was when somebody asked him why they moved to Vegas. They were in LA for years, part of Gold's Gym and all that stuff. He says, "Well, why did you move to Vegas?" And his answer was, and I quote, "To get away from all the drama." And I thought to myself, "You are the drama. What do you to get away? You're it."
Yes.
Funny how it followed you there, isn't it? But it was sad. It was sad because he did have promise as a, especially early on. He's another guy, again, great physique as an amateur, good-looking guy. He's on every magazine cover in the world, right? Got all the chicks, blah, blah, blah. Placed very well, did good. But the bigger he got, the worse his physique got. Stomach started to blow out, this and that, this injuries and things. But it was sad, honestly, sad from their own perspective and more so to the girl that they end up, killing and all that stuff. So, but sad but predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. How about your buddy, King Kamali?
Oh, the King, my Mama Luke brother.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, King, I met King, geez, I want to say it was like the 97 or 98 Nationals, I think was when he first met. Because I knew Jay, actually. And I remember me and Jay, it's the first time I ever seen King. So I didn't know who he was or anything, but he was very intense. He was like pacing back and forth backstage, and he had this Terminator.
Is he a teenager at this point?
No. He's like we're at the Nationals. Like
okay. He's at National. He's wearing Terminator.
Yeah. I want to say it was like his first national outing, right?
Okay.
And I remember looking at Jay and him looking at me like, what's this guy all about? This and that. And I don't know. I don't know who he is, but he's pretty focused, So
yeah.
And neither one of us ended up. I think Jay actually won that show or turned pro there, but it was not until '99 actually I would see King again. Now, '98 was a bust year. I actually destroyed my back playing baseball of all things.
Oh wow!
And snapped my L3 L4 discs in half.
Wow, I had no idea.
And so it was pretty bad. Where it's like I had to get the surgery. It was going to be a problem. That type of thing. So I was getting ready for the USA, but in '98, I was kind of still trying to get up there. At this point, get my pro card. But so '98 turned out to be a bust. Had the surgery. I came back in '99 and to a second place finish. Now coming off the back surgery, I was down a little bit in weight. Mm-hmm. So I was actually able to go in the heavies instead of the supers. Mm-hmm. I was right about on the line. So it just literally was like losing a few more pounds, but I knew I'd be in shape. And I had teamed up with George Farah, who's from my hometown, in my gym, and we got ready for that. So in '99, so it comes down to me and King. Now at this point, we kind of, got chatting backstage, and he actually turned around at some point and he goes, "Mr. Cicherillo," and I'm like looking around for my dad. I'm like, me? He's like, "Hey, I just wanted to know. I always, I looked up to you. I had a bunch of pictures in my locker, and actually you were one of them." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, I'm 100 years old." You know what I mean? But ever since that time, we just struck up a rapport, and we started chumming around. And he ended up beating me there at the '99 Nationals, so he got his pro card, and I would, of course, go on to later fame at the USA, which he was actually a part of. So it was kind of like a Rocky Apollo Creed kind of thing.
Oh, cool!
He actually came to look at me in the hotel room. So now we skip forward to the USA. So at this point, if I ain't gonna win this, bro, I got to be done. I'm second at the Nationals. I'm gonna be back in the supers, because obviously the only reason I was able to make that class is I was coming off the surgery, and I had no business even being on stage.
I remember you were ripped, and if I remember correctly, you were really dark. Your tan was real dark, and your legs were shredded. I
was pretty diced up. I was just under the cutoff, so I'm around 219, 220-ish, somewhere around there, and I was sliced up, but I got myself in shape. We kind of put a plan together. Okay, I'm back on the map. So I figure I'm going for it. And a lot of the people, one of the judges in my area, he actually wanted me to wait until next year's Nationals. And I'm like, fuck that, man. Listen, if this ain't my time, first of all, I don't want to be the Nationals winner, really. I always want to be Mr. USA.
Yeah.
It's got a better ring to it, bro.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So, and I'm like, no, I'm going to USA. I'm winning that show. This is it. I went there. But so King was there. And, now by this time we're buddies. Like, we're killing people online. on Get Big.
You were too, man.
We're the Mama Lukes, and all this crap, and we're having a ball. But he was a part of my training and all that stuff. So we get there. He's making bets with like Lonnie Teeper from Iron Man magazine that if I don't win, he'll wear a dress at the Night of the Champions and all this crazy stuff, right? So he comes up to my room and he's like, let me get a look at you, right? So, I throw the trunks on, I'm hitting poses, and he's like, man, bro, you're like on the money, like this is it, man, like you're gonna win. And he says, hey man, those aren't the trunks you're wearing, are they? And I'm like, yeah, they were just basic Andreas Colling, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he goes,
yeah, he had the mail order ones forever. That's right. Yeah,
well, that's what you got, right?
I forgot. Yeah.
And he looks and he goes, nah. He says, you can't wear it. I was like, well, that's all I got, bro. He's like, hang on a second. He disappears. He comes back with a bag, and in there he's got his trunks from the Nationals. Now he's got the CJ Elite custom, glittery, not black, the whole thing. And he pulls these out and he goes, hey, and he throws them to him and he goes, hey man, try these out. And I'm like, of course, something like, hey, yo, I can't wear your colors, man. Yeah. And just wash them before you get them back, man. So I tried them on. They fit great, I'm like, yeah. He's like, now that's a USA, Mr. USA look right there. So I wore those trunks. So the trunks I got on in there were Kings.
Awesome.
He had, let me borrow, which I still have. Never gave them back.
Yeah. Well, you wanted them. I get it. Those are yours now.
But, and of course, I'd go on to win the supers and then the overalls. And, of course, the rest is history. But that's my buddy, man. I love King to death. I do anything for him. I mean, he's kind of reinvented himself as a top trainer now. He's got all kinds of people. He's very knowledgeable, man. That kid knows his kid. He's what, 40 something now, man.
Yeah.
We're all kids when you're 55, bro, right? Everybody's a kid now.
So I got one more for you, and this is another person that I think is I think her impact is huge in the bodybuilding community, but I don't think we're talking about her enough. But Beth Francis.
Beth Francis was interesting to me. As somebody who came up in the era that I did. Now I started competing in '79. Okay, so that's how far back. At 13 years old, that was my first show. So I caught the end of the 70s, mostly obviously in the 80s, teenage stuff, and then the 90s national stuff, and then obviously into the pros. So I've seen it, but I was a huge bodybuilding fan.
Right.
You name it, I've seen Pumping Iron 10 million times. I've seen, Stay Hungry, any Arnold flick, of course, and all that stuff. Right? And I distinctly remember Beth Francis in Pumping Iron 2.
Right. That's how I was introduced to her. Right.
That's what they did. The women, Rachel McLish, who I absolutely was in love with as a kid, by the way.
Yes.
I loved Rachel McLish.
Oh, my God. My dream girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember Beth, and I remember that story, and I remember watching it, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know where this is going to go. Now, for that time, which was funny now because we're 40 years past that time, but, that was controversial, right? She's a big, muscular girl. Now she probably couldn't win a figure show with that muscularity, but for then, that was huge, and it was, holy crap, and, what are they going to do with her? And listen, she did pretty well. I think she took, I don't know, it was third maybe or something in that Olympia, whatever. But with all due respect to Bev, who I can appreciate, the muscularity and the thing, I thought that was a mistake.
Oh, really?
I thought it was a mistake because that's not the direction they wanted it to go. And if that's not a direction you want it to go, then don't reward it.
Yeah, good point, man. Because then that kept going that way.
Here's the problem, bro. There was a fourth place girl who sat there and looked and went, what's this all about? Like, is this what you want? So listen, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh place girl, right? They all look and go, oh, okay, so I got to get bigger to compete. That's where they're going, right? And that starts the ball rolling. And as it was nothing but problems ever since with the Miss Olympia and the look, and they're getting too muscular and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And, listen, that crescendoed up and came down because it only has a limited appeal, unfortunately.
Right.
It's got nothing to do with the work ethic. It's got nothing to do with whether they're deserving. Listen, some of these are my best friends over the years of these girls and these ladies. And the problem is it's bodybuilding is a niche sport, men's bodybuilding. That means women's bodybuilding is a niche of a niche sport.
Right.
So listen, we don't have the amount of people necessary to bump it up into the next level. They really don't have it. Yeah. And that's why it's never gone anywhere after that. It kind of peaked in the late 80s and 90s, and then it just completely fell apart. And today, it's I got to say, as somebody who MCs shows all over the world, and especially here in America, there's nobody coming up. I mean, there are no competitors. Women's physique does okay, but it's clearly the road less traveled when it comes to the women's stuff, right?
Right.
Listen,
Right.
figure's starting to decline in numbers because even that's considered extreme now and difficult. So now you get to bikini, which is huge, and now you've got wellness, which is actually another form of, you know, those are where all the numbers are.
Yeah.
If we ever put just hypothetically, if we ever put a beach bikini thing in there, that type of thing, like a Hawaiian tropic, that would make the numbers of bikini look like nothing. Trust me.
Yeah, it would triple. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's great. So I guess, yeah, thank you for that. Let me do actually one more for you.
I got
Vince
tons.
Taylor.
Vince Taylor, first of all, I loved his physique.
Yeah, me too.
At one time, he was the winningest bodybuilder of all time with 20-something wins before Ronnie actually eclipsed him. And then I think Dexter actually holds that now at 31 or something. But at one point, Vince Taylor was the shit, man. I mean, this guy, I loved his physique. His posing obviously was crazy with the Terminator and all the different things he used to do. Even the Macarena thing was entertaining. He used to do. I don't know if Vince has ever gotten his just due. I think he's a little underrated when people talk about the greats of all time. I think his name is left off the list sometimes, overshadowed. And I don't think it's for any particular reason other than there's just, listen, when you think of the greats, you come up with the same names everybody does. Well, you know, back when, you know, Flex and Sean and Kevin and, Jay Cutler, and, you know, you start throwing these names, and he's just one of those guys that, again, you know, his name isn't brought up as probably as much as it should be. But what a talent. I mean, in this day, this guy's like 60-something now.
I know, crazy.
You got to see the physique he's still got. We gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award the other year at the Tampa Pro, the Ben Weider Lifetime. He's still in shape. Oh. He's still in shape. Like his arms and stuff are still. Like, you look and it's just pure muscle. He's never out of shape. He's never been out of shape.
Yeah.
You know, he's not as big as he was, but he's not small either. I mean, but Vince Taylor was like this guy. Like I said, I think he probably could have won a few more shows than he did. That said, again, he was also competing in the toughest era.
Yeah, I agree. And he was a little older, I feel like, too. So that had to be challenging.
Yeah, when he came up, again, he was just before the Flex, Sean, Kevin era.
Right.
So, yeah, he was 40-something when he was competing against those guys. I think people tend to forget that. And he was holding his own. Listen, he beat some of those guys in some of those shows. But tremendous talent. Again, should go be in the record books and should be probably celebrated more than he is. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and you mentioned him, so I'll ask, and then we'll end on this one. But Flex Wheeler, man, what is his legacy now to you? I mean, what a rocky road this poor guy's had. Yeah,
Flex has had a lot of I mean, and I know him personally, so I mean, he's had a few books where he's pretty much explained a lot of his life history and all that. He did not have the easiest life growing up. And to this day, he'll tell you, you know, he still has demons that he's constantly fighting, you know, now more health-wise with the leg amputation. And even before that, the kidney stuff. We went and visited Flex probably at his lowest. Me and Dan Solomon actually went up there 2 years ago, probably it was now, when he was in the hospital. And they were, I don't know if they had just amputated his leg or they were going, I think they were just amputated it. And he was in a world, we didn't think he was going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, for real. We left there thinking, you know, I hope, you know, we'll pray that, you know, God looks out for him, but it didn't look good, bro. There was a whole host of problems of not just the leg, but he's got, you know, kidney issues. He's got blood issues. He's got, you know, these things just domino. The amount of stuff he's overcame is really tremendous. I mean, the fact he's able to keep a smile on his face, do what he does now. He's making the rounds. He's doing some commentary and he's got a supplement line going and this and that. He's a survivor.
Yes.
That's simple. Flex is a survivor. He finds a way. He manages to get through it. But what a tremendous physique. I was actually debating Flex to Flex, okay, about which one of his physiques was the best.
What do you think?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm torn because the 93 Flex was absolutely insane. But he contended the 98 Flex.
I was going to say 93 or 98. Had to, yes.
That's the one where he's got like that. The physique he displayed at that English Grand Prix was sick. It's him and Levrone and Ronnie. You'll see it. I think I got the right.
Look it up.
You can't miss it because you look and there's a side chest from all three of them that you just look at and you go, good God, man! Like these guys are insane.
Yeah.
Like I say,